Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to cut through the noise, get you the essential insights.
That's right.
And today, we are plunging into something really critical, very time sensitive. It's about former President Trump's potential decision on U.S. action, regarding Israel and Iran.
Yeah, the stakes are incredibly high. We're drawing heavily from the source, Trump's Israel-Iran conflict decision and regional quagmire.
Right.
Our mission really is to quickly lay out the core facts for you, but also dig into the strategic complexities here. It's vital stuff.
Okay, let's unpack it.
Yeah.
So the absolute centerpiece seems to be this 2-week deadline Trump mentioned
Right.
for his decision.
Yeah, the deadline is, well, it's loaded.
It really is. It's not just a date, is it?
Yeah.
It feels like a strategic move, forces everyone onto this compressed timeline, puts huge pressure on.
Exactly. The source suggests it might be less impulsive, more calculated, perhaps, a signal.
Could be. A signal of disengagement, maybe. Or trying to push regional players. His own views on getting involved are, well, they're stark.
Yeah.
He's quoted saying it'd be hell for the whole region.
A quagmire. That's the word he keeps using.
Yes, a quagmire. He thinks it would just continue aggression, delay any end to the brutal atrocities. He's really hammering home that this is not America's war.
And there's that personal legacy concern, too, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. Worried about being remembered as a president who entered a war he doesn't belong in. That's a direct quote reflecting his thinking, apparently.
So what actually triggered this specific 2-week clock? That's pretty key here.
Right.
Our sources point to an incident Thursday morning, an Iranian missile attack. Reports initially said a hospital in southern Israel was hit.
A hospital. Okay, that's serious.
Extremely.
Mm-hmm.
But here's where it gets messy, almost instantly. Iranian state media came out with a very different story.
Oh, so.
They reported the strike targeted a military site next to the hospital, not the hospital itself.
Wow. Okay, so right away, a completely different account of the target.
Completely different.
Yeah.
And that immediate fundamental disagreement over the basic facts.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredibly significant, isn't it? It complicates everything.
It really does. I mean, how does anyone, especially a leader, making such a huge decision, sort through that truth versus propaganda when the very trigger event is disputed like that?
That's precisely the challenge. This information gap, you could call it, it just feeds into that risk of a quagmire Trump talks about.
Because any action or even inaction is based on shaky ground.
Exactly. You're basing potentially monumental decisions on an understanding of events that is fundamentally contested from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
And the source also brings in Hossein Khatibzadeh, the spokesperson for Iran's foreign ministry.
What did he say?
Pretty blunt.
Yeah.
We cannot start any negotiation under these circumstances. And he sort of echoed that warning about Trump's legacy if the U.S. jumps in.
So no negotiation of warnings about legacy. It paints a picture of very entrenched positions.
Deeply entrenched. And the truth itself seems elusive, doesn't it? Even agreeing on what actually happened seems impossible.
It really highlights the difficulty in just understanding these conflicts as they unfold. The speed of competing narratives is just dizzying.
It is.
So, thinking broader now, what are the implications of this immediate clash of facts? Especially when Trump is weighing intervention, but is so worried about that quagmire.
Well, it's not just about what occurred, but how it's framed, how it's perceived, how it's reported.
Right, the narrative.
Precisely.
Mm-hmm.
This tension, between the stark quagmire warnings and these flatly contradictory reports about the missile strike, it shows the incredibly complex environment any world power operates in.
So decisions aren't just about military options or diplomatic channels anymore.
Not entirely. It's also about information, about controlling a narrative, or at least trying to understand the different narratives swirling around. That becomes part of the strategic calculation itself.
Which really brings us to a final thought, something for you, our listener, to reflect on. Given these starkly different reports about what was hit in that missile strike and all the intense talk around intervention, what does that signal to you about the sheer difficulty of understanding events in these kinds of conflicts? How might you approach information presented as fact in such charged situations, perhaps question it a bit more?